Good morning, everyone. Today is the 3rd of September. We will have Ocean's International Seminar. It is actually it is 500 this Ocean Seminar and 154th International Seminar. We will study informing the plastic treaty negotiations on science. Experiences from the Scientist Coalition for an Effective Plastic Treaty. Ms. Yening will present. Yening, the floor is yours. Please present.
Okay. Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Yening from Taiwan. Hello. 안녕하세요. So today I will lead this paper. So before I start, I would like to tell you that this paper is not like most paper we read before. This one is a perspective. So that means the authors have some ideas, some perspective to share. And so in this paper, they share their point of view without like experiment or survey result. So it's more like their thoughts and like their experience. So this is the abstract. So as you know, the ongoing international negotiation on the global plastic treaty is going. So in this paper, this author wants to discuss how the science can help to the policy making. And they think that during the negotiations, how the scientists can contribute to provide the science-based evidence to these stakeholders is very important. So they established the scientist coalition. So this coalition will provide some solid science evidence to the stakeholders and to the negotiators, and they hope to share their experience of how they communicate this science communication thing in this paper. So this is what it's about. And so at last, they think maybe this kind of experience, the scientist coalition can be used in future negotiation or other policy making process. So this is what this paper is talking about. Okay, so before I go to the paper, I would like to give you some background of the treaty. Although I think most of you may aware of that, but I can quickly go through it. So as you know, in 22nd in March, the United Nations Environmental Assembly, the 5th of this Environmental Assembly, they passed the resolution to end the plastic pollution. And in this resolution, they it is said that they have to create a legal binding draft by the end of 2024. That's this year. So from that time, from 2022 to 2024, there will be 5 international negotiating committee, the INC. So total 5 INC meeting. So they have held 4 INC meeting. So the 5th INC meeting will be held in Busan, if I'm correct, this year. And in the second INC, the delegation, they create a 0 draft. So they will based on this 0 draft to develop the final draft of the plastic treaty. Okay, and during the INC meetings, there are many stakeholders, many lobbying groups. And I think the most important two is the High Ambition Coalition and the Business Coalition. The High Ambition Coalition is established by Norway and Rwanda. So basically, it's the government, the national government, who supports the like a universal treaty to restrict the production of plastic. And the business coalition is basically established by the petrochemical company and the packaging company. So I can share their objective of this plastic treaty. So this is the High Ambition Coalition. So you can just Google them and find their website. And this High Ambition Coalition, currently there are 66 members in it. But if we talk about the G7 economics, USA is not inside this High Ambition Coalition. And the goal of this High Ambition Coalition is I think the most important is the first one: restrain plastic consumption and production to sustainable levels. And the second is enable a circular economy for plastic that protect the environment and human health. And the third one is achieve environmentally sound management and recycling of plastic waste. So among the delegations, like the national governments, there are some different opinions, but I think the mainstream, maybe I can say that the mainstream supports the High Ambition Coalition. Okay, and on the other side is the Business Coalition, and this coalition is mainly established, composed of petrochemical companies and packaging companies. So this is the objective of this business coalition. So they also support this treaty, of course. So the first one is develop clear and consistent policy insights and recommendation for an ambitious and effective treaty, and inform negotiations on key elements and priority policy consideration to be taken into account. The second is convene an inclusive group of business, financial institutions, key NGOs, and business organizations with a shared ambition towards a circular economy for plastic and a strong commitment to support an effective legally binding treaty to end plastic pollution. The third one is coordinate advocacy efforts to deliver joint key messages and inputs from aligned business, NGOs, and financial institutions to governments. The fourth is to build confidence in the business community around an ambitious and effective treaty being an enabler of progress toward a system change to end plastic pollution. So this is to give you a broad idea of what's going on inside the INC. But I think if you can provide more experience since you have a member to attend the previous INC. Okay, so back to this paper. So in the introduction, the authors has spent a lot of time to discuss the concept of free of conflicts of interest. This conflict of interest, because they mentioned that in the previous international negotiation or other international meetings, a lot of scientists actually they have some interest that is supported by the relevant business or industry. So in that case, the content of the agreement or the treaty will not be objective. So they think during the policy making, there should be strict conflict of interest policies. So, and they also mentioned that the transparent information is very important, and this disclosure of information can support the human rights to science and the access to information. And this these things will contribute the environmental policy that is driven by facts and evidence. So they like spent a lot of time to elaborate this idea. So, and they also mentioned the science policy interface. So they talk about how the scientists can contribute to the policy making. And so it is important that the scientists have to communicate the science finding or the science evidence to policymakers. And so in that way, the policy or the future agreement can be established based on the base of science. Okay. And this is the science policy interface. So they give a definition of this science policy interface. And it said the science policy interface is a social process which encompasses relations between scientists and other actors in the policy process, and which allow for exchanges, co-evolution, and joint construction of knowledge with the aim of enriching decision-making. Okay. So, in the negotiation of the INC meeting, the scientists has built a coalition, the scientist coalition. So how it happened? So back to 10 years ago. 10 years ago, there was an article named Structuring Policy Problems for Plastics, the Environment and Human Health. And this might be the first article to discuss how the scientists can contribute in the plastic policy or plastic regulation. And later, the UNEP established an expert group, the GISEMP, the group of experts on the scientific aspect of marine environmental protection. And the GISEMP has published a lot of reports on the plastic issue and marine plastic problems. And later, the resolution I just mentioned in 2022 in the United Nations Environmental Assembly, the resolution of end plastic pollution. So this resolution like pushed like everyone on this earth to create the global plastic treaty. And in the same time, there's also a SAC, a Scientific Advisory Committee on Marine Litter and Microplastic. So we can see that there is a trend that's talking about how the scientists can provide their opinion or how this scientific evidence can be used in the policy making and even for a global treaty. And we can also observe that the UNEP's focus has shifted. In the beginning, the focus of UNEP is to focus the threat of marine litter and microplastic to marine environment. So you can see it's basically talking of the marine plastic in this environment, how what is the effect or the influence of marine litter, this plastic pollution. But now after this after some time, the focus now has shifted to adapt a full life cycle approach to tackle the plastic pollution. So instead of only focus on the fate of this plastic pollution in the marine environment, now the UNEP has a higher point of view to concern the whole life cycle of the plastic, including from the production, usage, and disposal, and to the final stage of all its life cycle. Okay. And regarding the stakeholders in the participating in the treaty, there are also other coalitions, including the Great Arundel and the SAC I just mentioned. And there are also the International Science Council and the High Ambition Coalition I just mentioned, and the Business Coalition, and also the NGO coalition named Break Free from Plastic. So you can see the treaty is like a party for all the lobbying groups. So a lot of lobbying groups with different interests, they all like participate actively in the negotiation in all the INC meeting. And in the beginning, they only maybe not so many people, but in the from the 3rd to the 4th, and I believe in the 5th INC meeting, there will be more and more these delegations from all of the world to participate in this negotiation. Okay. And the forming process of this scientist coalition. So I have mentioned there are some scientist groups during this period of time, but there are 2 NGOs. One is EIA, Environmental Investigation Agency, and the other one is CEL, Center for International Environmental Law. So these 2 NGOs, like they took a lead, and they organize everyone, other scientists together. So they built up they established the scientist coalition, and they under this coalition, they publish their declaration. And until this May, there are more than 350 scientists from more than 60 countries join this scientist coalition. And I just mentioned that in the beginning of this paper, they mentioned the importance of free of conflict of interest. So all scientists who wants to join this scientist coalition has to sign the declaration of free of conflict of interest, then they can join. Okay. So here is the where are these scientists and what's their discipline. So you can see most scientists are in the Western states. That means Western Europe and North America. So more than 200 of them. So maybe 60%, 70% of it. And regarding the discipline, because the plastic actually is like an interdiscipline issue. And from the science coalition, we can see that most scientists are from biology, environmental science, and microplastic. These are the top 3 disciplines where these scientists are interested in. And the secondary interest, it falls in environmental management, policy, and waste management. So you can see, although they are so many different disciplines here, but these are the top 6 disciplines where these scientists expertise fell. Okay, and here is the structure of the scientist coalition. So they are core members. They establish a steering committee, and they will organize working groups on specific topic, and they will from these core members, they will create policy briefs, fact sheets, or participate in the expert groups to give material outside us, to give material under the name of the scientist coalition. And there are also some observers. These observers are not in the core members groups, but these observers are also scientists, but these observer they may have some interest like they may support by the business or industry, so they can only be the observer. And if you are in the scientist coalition, but you are not in the core members, you still can like create personal, like you still can submit a scientific paper to peer review journals. So this is not restrict. So this is the structure of the scientist coalition. Okay. So how to communicate the scientific evidence under the name of this coalition and to influence the policy making process. There are five ways to do the science policy communications. So I will introduce one by one. The first one is peer review publication and scientific letters and commentaries, policy briefs and backsheet, social dissemination, and direct engagement at treaty negotiations. So I will introduce one by one. The first is peer review publication. So I think everyone is familiar of this way of communication. So this peer review publication, basically they will provide scientific findings like from the previous studies or experiments, or they will test the hypotheses or and other empirical evidence. So, and this is one type of peer review publication. The other one is related to the treaty negotiations. So there are two types of these kind of papers. And their target audience, of course, is scientific community, because not everyone can have access to the scientific journals, and these scientific papers, they are also maybe a bit difficult for the general public to read. So basically, these peer review publication, their main target audience is the scientific community. And the secondary one is negotiators and other stakeholders, but they also reflect this peer review publication, because they, as you see that most scientists are from the Western states, the North America and Europe. So they reflect there may be some critiques that this kind of communicating channel is a neo-colonial bias favor global north. So it means those who have more resource, like in the North America and Europe, they have more access and more opportunity to publish in these channels. And this also needs some access of knowledge or resource, because some journals may cost a lot of money to publish or to buy. So not everyone like can access to these peer review publications, but they still think this is like a credible way to communicate, since it's a peer reviewed journals. Okay. And the second one is scientific letters, invited perspective, and communications. So there are several different types of this kind of short articles, not as long as the peer-reviewed papers. The first one is letters. Letters is usually like hundreds of words and highlight a specific area needs scientific awareness. And correspondence is also a similar type of this communication channel. And a longer type is communications is a type with longer words, 1,000 to 100 to 1,500 words. And in this type of in this type of material, it highlights certain area of scientific concerns. And there are also invited perspective. These ones will provide a new viewpoint on a generally accepted scientific perspective. So this paper we are reading, today's paper is an perspective. So the focus of this style of communication is to the science policy interface relevant to the treaty negotiations. And it's rather than providing new scientific insights, it's more like a point of view or sharing from its own idea, just like this paper. Okay. And the third one is policy briefs and fact sheets. So these kind of material are designed to present a specific scientific topic in an easy to read format for non-experts in plain and understandable language. So usually policy briefs and fact sheets, they are quite short, maybe 1 or 2 pages or no more than 3 pages. And usually you can read it like if you don't have any knowledge background, you still can understand what it's saying. And this kind of material can communicate the relevant science to non-specialized audience, such as policymakers or even the NGOs, journalists, or the public. And this kind of material has the most significant impact disseminated during the policy formation, and only the very core member of this scientist coalition can contribute to the drafting of these policy briefs and fact sheets. So the target audience of these policy briefs and fact sheets are the treaty negotiators, and the secondary priorities is other stakeholders such as industry, civil society, organization, journalists, and even from social media. So I download the briefs and fact sheets from the Scientist Coalition for your information. So the left one, so the left-hand side is the briefs. So you can see the information is not like overwhelming, like they have organized and like make into bullet point. So you can like read it in a very short time. And the right-hand side is the fact sheet. So this fact sheet is talking about the plastic pollution at each life stage, and it's just 1 page. The left one, the briefs, is 2 pages. So usually these kind of material are made in a very like short format for people, like they can, especially for those stakeholders who attend the treaty, who can read it like in a very short time, and to grab the most important thing of this kind of material. Okay, and the fourth one is through mass media, social media, and webinars. So in this part, the authors talking about it is very important to working with the journalist, because the journalist can help the scientist to spread of their message, and in a easy to understand way for the public or for the policymakers to understand. And the media coverage is also very important, because if more people understand what is going on, the public opinion can also influence the policymakers. Okay. The fifth scientific communication is to direct engagement at the UN negotiations. But I think this one is very limited, because the number of delegation who can access to the negotiation is very limited, and only very few people can go into the sessions. So these kind of engagements, there are also six ways to engage. The first one is formal meetings, including the national consultations and group meetings before and during the INC sessions. The second one is interventions during the plenary and contact group discussion. The third one is informal meetings with delegates and stakeholders. So during the negotiation, there are also some informal meetings that happening in the venue. The fourth one is active participation in formal and informal side events during the INC. So there are also some side events during some formal ones and also informal side events during the INC that some are restricted only to delegation, but some informal side events are open to everyone to join. The fifth one is submission of verbal and written multi-stakeholder statement for publication on the UNEP INC website. And the sixth is the contribution to events on the ground directly preceding the commencement of INCs. So you can see there are some different ways different level to engage, to talk to other stakeholders during the INC negotiation meetings. Okay, so I make a table to compare the target audience of these of these 5 categories. So the first two, the peer review publication, the the scientific letters and commentaries. So basically, because these materials are published in peer-reviewed journals, so the target audience are mainly scientific communities, then the negotiators and other stakeholders. And the third one, policy briefs and fact sheets. These are mainly talk to the treaty negotiators and other stakeholders. The fourth one, social dissemination. This one is because it's through the mass media or social media. So the target audience are the public and also some policy makers. The fifth one, the direct engagement at treaty negotiation. The main target audience are the treaty negotiators and also other stakeholders. Okay, so the final part is the reflection and conclusion. So in this part, the authors reiterate that it is important for these scientists to be independent and without conflict of interest to join this scientist coalition. And under the name of this coalition, they can provide policy briefs, fact sheets, and also some statement to communicate with other negotiators and policy makers. And they are also think of what may be the future role of this coalition after the treaty. So they are aware that actually there are a lot of needs from the governmental delegation or international bodies that actually everyone needs this scientific evidence or recommendation. So this coalition may still exist after the treaty, but they haven't really make a decision what will be in the future, but they think that this kind of role is very important in the international negotiations, such as this global plastic treaty. Okay, so this is what I would like to share today. Do you have any questions?